Good morning. My name is Erica Wilkinson. I am a bankruptcy attorney based in Baltimore, Maryland. And on my channel, I answer various questions about bankruptcy that I get throughout my practice or questions that I receive on my channel specifically. And one of the most common questions that I get is, do I have enough debt to file bankruptcy? This question is pretty individualized, but I can give you a couple of general guidelines. The first thing you want to think about is, where is your income? Where is your household income in relationship to the median household income for your area? And this will increase based off of how many, like the more people you have in your house, the higher it's going to be. So this is going to be called the means test, and you can look this up. It's public knowledge. You don't need an attorney to find out where you fall on the means test. I believe for a one-person household in Maryland right now, it's about $78,000, and it increases about, five or so thousand for every person after that. I don't have the exact numbers right in front of me, but you can just look up, if you're in Maryland, means test for bankruptcy means test for Maryland, and you can get a chart, and I believe it's released by the Department of Justice, but it should be one of the top hits on Google. And you can Google the same thing for your jurisdiction. So if you're in Oklahoma, for example, which is where my family's from, you can Google means test for Oklahoma or California, or insert jurisdiction, and you can find out what the means test is for your specific number of people in your household, and what your income is. And if you are below the median income, or below the means test is how you'll hear it referred to, chances are you can get all of that debt discharged. You don't have to pay anything back. It does depend a little bit on how much you have in assets. So even if you're below the means test, but you have a house, for example, that you've been paying on for a long time and you have some equity built up, you may have to pay some of that out. And so you may still need to file a Chapter 13, which is where talking to an attorney would be a really good option for you. Additionally, so you just really need to look at the exemptions. If you're above the means test, you're most likely going to have to file a Chapter 13, which means that you're going to have to pay off some of that debt over the course of 3 to 5 years. So when you're looking at a Chapter 13, the lower amounts of debt that you have, the more likely you are to have to pay all of that off in the 3 to 5 years. There are some benefits. So this is kind of the Chapter 13, as I talked about a couple of videos ago, is kind of like the debt reorganization bankruptcy. So the benefits to a Chapter 13 is that you get the full protection of the bankruptcy court, which means that nobody can sue you. If they have a problem with your bankruptcy, they have to take it to the bankruptcy court. Most debts don't accrue interest while you're in a Chapter 13 and you're paying it off. Some exceptions to that would be your mortgage, your car payment, things that are secured, if you will, or not if you will, things that are secured by some kind of collateral. But most other types of debt won't accrue interest or late fees or anything like that. So there are some really good benefits to filing a Chapter 13 and paying some of that off. But like I said, the lower amounts of debt that you have, if you file a Chapter 13, the more likely you are to have to pay all of them off in that 3 to 5 year payment plan. Some things to think about. There are some pros and cons that you need to weigh in the process, but again, there's no minimum threshold of debt that you need to have in order to file.